What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, The Only Reviews, with two different views. And in this episode, we're talking about the new album by Jonny Fritz called Sweet Creep. And we're exploring the big question, will Jonny Fritz's country-ish Sweet Creep creep into your playlist? Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, and everyone at home.
Jonny Fritz used to go by Johnny Corndog, but on this album and his last, he is now Jonny Fritz, and he calls his style dad country, which I think is a great moniker for it. He recently moved from Nashville to Los Angeles, so he's based there now, and this is his fourth album, and it was produced by Jim James, frontman of My Morning Jacket. Fun fact. So let's talk about what it sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, I think Sweet Creep sounds like the new Basement Tapes minus Mumford, minus Bob Dylan lyrics, plus George Carlin lyrics.
Wow, that's a really good description. I like that. I think it sounds like your grandpa's record collection of Roger Miller, Tom T. Hall, and Marty Robbins.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about some highlights from the album. What do you got, Derek?
One highlight to me was the minimal but powerful instrumentation, acoustic, electric, and bass guitars, appropriate percussion, and fiddle. The fiddle was really kind of the standout in many tracks here, and just really kind of blended those together to kind of create rich Americana, country-ish sounds.
Yeah, to that point, I think he does a lot with a little. And he does that really, really well. He's delivering a lot of country sounds, but he leans on different instruments, to your point, Derek, or sometimes the absence of instruments. The one track that's almost all a cappella.
Stone Cold Daddy-O.
Yeah, Stone Cold Daddy-O, for example. And then I think I heard a tuba on Forever Whatever. And to your point, Derek, a lot of well-played fiddle. And I think he takes these sort of classic country sounds, but gently warps them into his own thing.
Another highlight to me was his strong lyrics, oftentimes humorous, but other times poignant and emotive, and a lot of really interesting storylines. Cries After Making Love, the story of someone trying to live two lives, or a hotel that is also a home for rescue chihuahuas, aptly titled Chihuahua Rescue.
Yeah, I thought his lyrics are great. They're relatable. They're also usually sort of self-deprecating, to your point, Derek. A lot of funny ones and pretty weird overall. He also, gets sort of vulnerable and personal at times, so it's this nice mix.
You know, you mentioned Stone Cold Daddy-O, really fantastic lyrics. In particular, I drive a Buick with a blistered hood, and I've got the tallest grass in the neighborhood. I spent my money like a poor man should, faster than the debt collector could.
I also enjoy the track where he rhymes spaghetti with clarinetti.
Oh, yeah. I love Leaving.
I also like how overall he just doesn't take himself too seriously. He has a lot of fun, and I think that's a big part of his sound and his overall charm as an artist. All right, those are some good highlights. Did you have any lowlights, Derek?
Very small one. Towards the end of the album, the minimal instrumentation seemed to be wearing a little thin at that point, but I think, as you said earlier, he's really doing a lot with a little here. I think it's tough to make that sound fresh and interesting for the breadth of songs on here.
I kind of had the opposite take. I thought it took the album a little while to get going. Are You Thirsty and Cries After Making Love are good, but they started to bring it down sort of early on in the album, and then the second half really picked up for me, and I thought that's where it just kept getting better and better and better.
So are you saying the whole album would have been better if Chili Dog Morning was the opener?
I think so. I love that song, and it could be every song on this album, and it would be great. Give that job to Grandma. Make her chop the onions. I mean, it's just so silly. It's great.
He's literally cracking up at the end of the song.
Yeah, and you're laughing right along with him. All right, that brings us to overall rating and answering the big question, will Jonny Fritz's country-ish Sweet Creep into your playlist? What do you say, Derek?
Kevin, to answer the big question, I think absolutely yes, although this might not be one you're going to brag to your friends about. You may not want your friends on Spotify to see that you've been rocking an album called Sweet Creep for the last 3 weeks. But I still think it's fine, and you should go ahead and do so. Another really interesting thing about this album that we didn't even really touch on yet is just the fact that for a Jim James produced album, this really doesn't sound or feel at all like Jim James was pushing all the buttons behind the scenes. I think that really speaks to Jonny Fritz's ability to just kind of do his thing here, and I think he does it very well. It makes it for a really rewarding listen, and so that's why I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5.
Right on. We will agree for the most part. Will this one creep into your playlist? I think definitely. I think this is one of those records you'll throw on when you want to get in a good mood. It's just a lot of fun to put on. I also think it's just a really solid record in terms of sound and execution. Again, he does so much with so little and just executes flawlessly. And to your point, Derek, Jim James just disappears as the producer because that's all he needs to do. Jonny Fritz is so good here. And this is one of my favorite records of the year. I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5 as well. So that's a combined 8 out of 10 for Jonny Fritz's Sweet Creep. So definitely check this record out and let us know what you think about it. Don't forget to subscribe to us either on YouTube or the podcast. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.